speaking with Barry Douglas on Classical Spotlight, and a wonderful program that you will conduct and play. Has this become... How did you first start conducting? Because we all know your amazing piano playing, but how did it come about to actually start conducting?
Well, actually, if truth be told, I was conducting as a teenager and conducted choirs and orchestras, and then as my piano playing career kind of took off, I stopped conducting. So I'm actually coming back. And when I'm primarily a pianist, of course, but when I founded Camerata Ireland, my own chamber orchestra, in 1999, it was at that moment I realised that I do have a love of orchestral. I always knew I had a love of orchestral music, but actually to conduct it and to think of what's my relationship with this great music. It took on a new kind of shape and form, and then I started, with my own chamber orchestra and other chamber orchestras, and then I started to be invited to guest conduct symphony orchestras. I don't want to do too much every year, but I accept 3 or 4 engagements a year with symphony orchestras, 1 or 2 with chamber orchestras, and the rest with my own chamber orchestra. Because primarily I am a pianist, but primarily I'm also with my own chamber orchestra, Camerata Ireland. So, but I'm thrilled to be here in San Antonio. I do have a lovely relationship with 3 or 4 orchestras, like Vancouver Symphony, Belgrade Philharmonic, and Bangkok Symphony, where I'm doing cycles. It's a Mozart cycle, Vancouver. Belgrade is a Beethoven cycle. No, sorry, Bangkok is a Beethoven cycle, with symphonies and concertos. And Belgrade is just an ongoing relationship. So those are kind of my links with as a guest conductor. But I'm thrilled to be in San Antonio and doing something. And this repertoire I know work very well, and we've just done the first rehearsal, and I'm so impressed. Such a musical orchestra, very nice bunch of people. It's a pleasure. Music is about making music together, of course, and so if the human aspect works, it makes it so much easier to achieve what you want to do musically and psychologically and everything. So it's great. To answer your question, thank you.
Well, it's a nice program. I think there's something a little new, the Gretzky, something sort of modern, and then this lovely Rossini overture to get things started with. The D minor Mozart is just so passionate, and then Haydn it's late Haydn. There's something. He had such a great relationship with the Esterházys and in London and all these different things. There's almost a sort of a regal playfulness in this work, I think.
It's an incredible piece. I mean, Haydn is always interesting. Interesting, I mean, that's an understatement. But in this particular piece, he outdoes himself in terms of he takes ideas and almost like Beethoven keeps at it and at it and at it and keeps turning it around and twisting it around, adding a new colour, upside down, back to front, and it's dazzling. The second movement is, I think, the gem of the piece, where in terms of rhythm, in terms of the instrumentation, he takes a very simple piece of music, simple theme, and turns it into something quite intoxicating. So it's really, really very, very special. The drive of the first movement and the fourth movement, of course, we're all blown away by it. The second movement is something very special. And I heard today from the CEO, Jack, of San Antonio Symphony, I didn't realize this, that it is the anniversary of the first performance. May 4th. We're playing here.
Yeah.
Of this symphony 104 of Haydn. It's the anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
Very
it's
great.
Very special.
Good circumstance. It's got to be fun. I mean, you work with conductors. performing, it's got to be fun to sort of be in the middle of the sound. Is the piano open and facing the orchestra?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's got to be fun because that's not the normal position we see pianists. So we'll actually see your back like a conductor. But I mean, everyone gets to see their hands. It's got to be fun to sort of be in the middle of all that.
It's wonderful for us because I always try to put the piano as near to the wind as possible, so they hear the piano, and so I'm really in very close contact with all the players. And the great thing about this is that the players have a chance to take on extra responsibility, and they're doing it beautifully here, where they listen and interact with each other and with me, which produces quite a homogeneous performance. That's not to belittle conductor, pianist in the same kind of repertoire, but it does give a new kind of perspective. Not every orchestra is up to it. There are many orchestras who much prefer to listen to Herr Maestro, but this is a fantastic way of making music.
Yeah. It's weird that Gretzky became very popular 20 years after he wrote his Third Symphony. You know, he kind of became a pop star thanks to Don Upshaw and whatnot. But I always think, knowing that these composers were under oppression, you know, that they were literally, there was this whole cultural thing. We've seen it in China, we've seen it in Germany and Russia and all these sort of things, that there are still able to, there's great folk melodies in these three old pieces that come out, and there's great rhythms, and it's got to be fun to, again, sort of share this and have this wonderful string sound around.
It's an extraordinary piece. I mean, it's, as you say, it's based on olden, it's called Three Pieces in Olden Style, but it's anything but olden. On the one hand, yes, of course, it's quite conventional, but on the other hand, it brings such a new colour, and the juxtaposition of the different stringed instruments, and also the exploitation of all the different kind of techniques are all in these pieces. The third piece, especially for me, is something incredible, where it's an ethereal kind of chorale, where it starts with this chorale and then this crunchy, loud bit in the middle, and then it ends up like it started. It's quite amazing. It's really, what an imagination, what a great composer.
Yeah. Well, I know we've enjoyed the old RCA recordings that are out and about. And there's the Camerata recordings. The Beethoven were just a real delight. And they just sent me across my desk this wonderful Brahms. And it says Volume 1, so I assume that there'll be more to come.
10 years.
Yeah?
Because it's the complete Brahms and the complete Schubert.
Wow.
I'm estimating 10. It could be 15. As I go to my grave, I'll be finishing the last note.
Brahms was a big fan of having the scores. He had Schubert and Beethoven scores and whatnot. Do you like to go back and look at manuscripts and different things like that?
Oh, I do. I absolutely, I'm fascinated by that. Even now, because we have wonderful scholarship and the great text editions, and people are going back to the basic and say this is exactly what the guy wrote. But still, to see them with their handwriting, and also to see in certain passages where their handwriting changes, and that tells you something, whether it's kind of more excitable or whether it's placid. It's really important to look at that, I think, as a performer, because when I think back to, when one thinks if one could be there, the composer hands the performer the newly written piece with his or her handwriting, and the performer not only looks at the notes but actually sees the ink and how it was written. That's an indication also. And so I love that when I commission new pieces, like I'm commissioning a lot of music for my orchestra this year, and And they say, oh, we do it with Sibelius software, which is this wonderful computer software. And I say, oh, that's great, but can you not write something yourself? I want to see your handwriting.
Yeah, there's some sketches, there's a short score.
Yeah. Give me some background stuff.
Yeah. It's great. It has both rhapsodies, the both of the Opus 79, and it's got all these wonderful intermezzi and the Handel variations. Instead of like the complete Opus 116 or the complete Opus 118, how was it to sort of pick and choose these things? Because they're all gems. I would have a hard time saying, oh, I'd want to do this first. Or
Well, we decided early on, Ralph Cousins, Chandos, and myself, we decided early on to not to do blocks of opus numbers, but to make each disc a recital evening. So you can sit at home and just listen to the thing as a complete program, which is done with consideration for key, mood, and content. So each disc sits on its own. But by the end of this huge length of time of 10 years, it'll all be there. So by then they'll be able to do a special Apple, God knows what, or Microsoft. It'll all come together in a different way, or the way you want, but this is my choice for now. So I hope people accept it. I'm sure they'll be interested.
oh yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome. I guess I'd end on what's next. Where are you off to after this?
I go to Des Moines to play Rachmaninoff, then I go to South America for a tour, Brazil, and then back to Ireland. We're doing a big project, Camerata Ireland is doing a big project in Derry. Next year is the Derry City of Culture, and so this is part of the thing where we're creating the opportunities for new audiences with teenagers. Our special focus is teenagers, and that's with workshops, masterclasses, telling them about new music and letting them create stuff themselves. And this is really important to me. Once Derry is actually up and running now, and then we're going to do the same thing in Cork. So Derry and Cork are our two main kind of education hubs. So that's what's happening at the end of May. Then I go back to South America to do the complete Beethoven concertos, and then I am on vacation. So I'm gone for three weeks, and then it's festival season. Our festivals in Ireland kick off in August.
Yeah, back to work.
But great fun.
Yeah. Well, Barry, it's nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John.